They say that your network is your net worth, right? So I would focus on finding other entrepreneurs that are in your city, whatever it is that they needed. I would try to figure out how to serve those people because those people have got a significant amount of power.
Welcome to the Sales Made Simple podcast. This podcast is dedicated to helping overwhelmed outdoor living professionals, landscapers, and hardscapers just like you increase your closing rate to over 75% without doubling your workload so you can build a seven-figure business that doesn't need you. I'm your host, Joshua Gillow. Let's dig in. Hey everybody, welcome back. We got Gene Slade back on here. He slayed it last week. Man, we got into the first steps that people need to do if they really love building stuff, but really don't feel like they like to sell stuff. He gave you some great advice. If you didn't hear that last episode, go back and listen to it. And this week, we're going to jump into what is the top 3 fundamental things that we must master as sales professionals in order to be able to pull the needle from down low up high. We can start serving more people. So Gene, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
So first is that we have to have a sales process. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
So I'll never forget when I started my first company, I had 5 people working for me at the time. 3 of them were in the field, 2 of them were in the office. And I was trying to train them on how to do what I did. So I would get in there in the morning at 7 o'clock and I would give them a speech. At my best motivational speech, I would give them some sales tactics, and then I expect them to go out in the field and actually perform. And unfortunately, I was met with underwhelming results. And so I reached out to a mentor of mine. I'm like, listen, man, this is what I'm doing. Can't seem to get these guys to do what I do. And he laughed at me and threw his head back and laughed exaggeratively for 30 seconds. That was his thing. He wanted to embarrass me. I was an idiot. And he was like, you know what your problem is? And I was like, no, tell me what my problem is. He was like, well, not only are you ugly, you're stupid, you're fat. It was just joking around me, but he was like, and you don't have a sales process. I'm like, what are you talking about? I got a sales process. I'm talking to them every fucking morning. And he's like, no, you preach at them like, a proctor or like a professor. But you haven't given them any study material. When was the last time you wrote down what you said and put it into a process for them to repeat? And then when was the last time that you actually role played with them back and forth on those words? Not just the words once they memorize them, but the tone, the inflection, the delivery. If I wanted to interview for a Hollywood, movie, could I just walk in and just read the words, or would I have to deliver them with some tone, some inflection, some cadence, right? So number one, we've got to have a sales process. Mm-hmm. And if you own a company and you were never a really successful salesperson, you're going to want to find somebody who is, and then just duplicate what they do, right? Like Joshua, here's an example. I'm going to say, don't reinvent the wheel. Josh, if you or I were in a room and Elon Musk walked into that room and he said, Joshua, you, me, and Gene, we're going to build SpaceX 2.0. And he drafted it out on a board for us in 60 seconds and showed us exactly how we were going to do it. Josh, would you or I go, Elon, maybe we should do it this way and draw out our own plan?
Probably not.
No, right? We would just follow the master, right? Mm-hmm. So why are you guys trying to reinvent the wheel? Find somebody who's already done it, who's already successful, and just do exactly what they do. All right. So that's number one. So 3 things you're talking about, right? That they need to do. So that's number 1, get the sales process. Number 2, train it every day. This is a huge mistake that I see in companies all across the country. Take note. Would you be surprised if I told you that the fastest growing companies and the most profitable companies, the most successful companies, those companies that generate the most draw on talent for their industries and for their markets have daily training?
I believe it.
Have daily coaching? Mm-hmm. They're universities inside of companies. Guys, I know that probably some of you have had college educations. I had a few years of college, it was a waste of my time, complete waste of my time. There are companies now that literally train inside of their companies like universities. So if you already owning your own company, I would make friends with one of those guys that owns a company like that. Would you be surprised to know that successful people really don't have a problem lifting other people up? They really don't. They're constantly looking to lift people up. They're constantly looking to share their success secrets with other people. But the problem is most of you are too fucking afraid to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're too prideful to ask. Listen, I'm looking for hungry and humble people, right? Les Brown said, we don't ask for help because we're weak. We ask for help because we want to remain strong.
That's right.
Okay. So don't ask for help and don't stop until you get it. All right. Ask for help. Find a mentor. So number one, sales process, mentor might come along with that. Number two, find a mentor. All right. And then number three, what's a third thing that they could do to go from just like putting shit into to selling? I mean, they say that your network is your net worth.
I could see that,
right?
for sure.
So I would focus on finding other entrepreneurs that are in your city. You might have to join a local BNI group. I'm not a huge fan of those, but I would seek out other people that have done what I did, and then I would or done what I want to do, and then I would find out how to add value to their lives. I would not go ask them for anything. I would find out how can I help them in their business? How can I generate more calls for them? How could I send them whatever it is that they needed? I would try to figure out how to serve those people because those people have got a significant amount of power. And with the flick of their wrist, they can change your business forever and your life forever. So those are three things. I know there's a ton more that we could get into. You want to give any feedback and see if anything else comes out of what your feedback is?
No, I mean, it's absolutely, you're spot on with that. You know, I talk all the time about the idea of having systems and processes specifically around sales, because if everyone in your entire network or your entire business is doing it their way, Mrs. Jones is having a different experience each and every time. And there's no way you can possibly multiply that or have any quality control over that. And then your key sales guy up and leaves because he wants to move to Hawaii. And the next thing you know, he's like, oh shit, now how do I copy that guy? Or if that's you as an owner, you can never get out of that position because you're stuck being that sales guy forever, right? So you need to have systems and processes, just like Gene's saying, like write it down, start systemizing it, even if it's a starting point, even if that's just what you do with what you do as the owner or the lead salesperson. But when you go into the realm of finding mentors and finding people that are months, years, decades ahead of you, and you want to get there, just copy what they're doing. I mean, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And most of them will teach you if you can add value, either through jumping on a course or figuring out how you can add value to their world or their network. And the next thing you know,
products.
Yeah. The next thing you know, you start becoming more like them and you start doing what they're doing. Next thing you know, you've got a whole team of people that are out there selling just like you, and a system that you all agree is the right way to move forward.
You have to buy your way into some rooms, but when you walk out of those rooms, you end up leaving 10 times more successful than you were before you got into the room. The second thing that I thought of when you were talking about that, so one of my mentors and coaches right now, I'm in his elite coaching program, is Dan Martell. Mm-hmm. And Dan Martell talks about building playbooks. Essentially, a playbook is an operating procedure or a system, right? But think about it like a playbook, right? So you just write down every step that is in the process, but then to take it to another level, to make it easier to train so that you don't have to constantly be training your people, he uses the camcorder method. So you record yourself doing said task 3 times, right? And then and when people come into the organization, if they need to learn how to, make a foundation nice and level so that it doesn't sink, or they need to learn how to, make sure that this sod that I'm looking at right now is nice and even for the next 12 years or whatever it is, there's a playbook for it, along with like different problems that you run into and 3 different recordings for people to watch to figure out how to solve that problem. I mean, it's like the YouTube method, right? That way, when as an entrepreneur or a CEO or an owner and you're in the groove and you're jamming and you're making money and you're building your business, when people come to you and go, hey, I got this problem out here, you can go, hey, you watched the video when you onboarded on how to figure that out. Go back to the training modules, watch it. The solution's in there. Now you don't have to spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour walking this MFer through this problem, right? It's already recorded. Okay. So just have it. It doesn't need to be a professional recording. Just use your iPhone. Hey, I'm on this problem. This is how I solve it. And then boom, it gets uploaded into a website or a platform like Lightspeed. There's a million of them out there. But record your systems and your operating procedures, record them in the camcorder method so that people can go back and watch them and you don't waste time, right? Yeah. Time is your most valuable asset. You can't get any more of it. Money replenishes, time does not.
That's right.
So
that's right, man. You're absolutely
fuck
right. I love
training
that.
people over and over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, think about the time suck that is and how much bandwidth
it'll
it takes
ruin
to do
your
that.
life.
Yeah,
and make you pissed off. And I was reading, I'm so sorry to keep going, John Maxwell's like 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. He was talking about how we as entrepreneurs get upset and frustrated because we've constantly got to explain the same things over and over to people, but that's part of leadership. This is taking that to another level and going, hey, listen, we recorded this. Go watch it. I bought back my time. I still am doing the training.
That's right.
Right. So brilliant principle and will help you. You cannot scale a business without doing these things. You cannot scale it fast and successfully. It'll implode on itself. There will be chaos and you will hate your life.
100%.
Probably go bankrupt.
Yeah, that too. And you know, what you're talking about, the idea of having like your business is more of a university style business where you have your systems documented well, you've got your videos, you got your training, all that stuff inside. And then you can train your teams. And that's how I started Just Express, was the idea that, hey, I need to change my sales system. I need to get this systemized. So build a system that worked extremely well in my company. And we trained it and tried to break it and adjust it and train it and try to break it within our company. Next thing you know, we saw how well it was working. We're like, hey, let's see if this will work somewhere else. And then that university model started training other people around the country. Next thing you know, they were seeing great results. And you're like, holy crap, there's something here. It's time to put some coal behind this and go out there and help more people with it. But if we weren't thinking about systemizing and creating those systems, we never would have went there. We would have just done the same damn thing over and over again and bitched about the result.
It's a real business. You know, my uncle reached out to me, I want to say 7 years ago. He owned a plumbing company in the Metro Detroit area. And he'd been in business for over 40 years and he wanted to retire. And he called me up and he's like, hey, man, I want to sell my business. Can you help me? And I was like, maybe, let's send me this, and this. And unfortunately, he'd been running a business for 40 years that I couldn't find any reason anybody would buy it from him. I told him, I said, Unc, I'm sorry to deliver this message, but your business isn't worth anything. You have a job for the last 40 years, right? You haven't built a business, you've built a job. And unfortunately, that's what happens with most people. And look, that might be good enough for some people. Other people might want to leave something. They might want to make a bigger impact on their communities or their families or something else that means something to them. And you're never going to do that if you just keep up the status quo, right?
That's right.
If you're not growing, folks, remember this. You're dying. You're going backwards. It's fact.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry, man. That's the truth. Look at a tree. Simple, right? It's either growing or it's dying. There's no, coasting. It's either alive or dead. It's very simple. So, Gene, appreciate it. Next week, guys, we're going to jump into what does the future. I'm curious what Gene thinks the future of sales looks like in the trades. So, Gene, thank you this week. Awesome stuff. See you next week.